In the summer of 1968, a quiet working-class neighborhood in Newcastle, England, was rocked by a crime so disturbing that it would haunt the nation for decades. The culprit wasn't a hardened criminal or a shadowy adult predator. It was 11-year-old Mary Bell. Her cold-blooded murders of two small boys would earn her infamy as one of the youngest serial killers in modern history. Mary Flora Bell was born on May 26, 1957, into a life marked by instability and abuse. Her mother, Betty, was a troubled teenager believed to have worked as a sex worker, and her father was largely absent. Mary was reportedly subjected to various forms of neglect and trauma from a very young age. Some family members even allege that Betty tried to kill Mary on more than one occasion, under the guise of accidental overdose or injury. These early experiences, combined with exposure to inappropriate and violent behavior, likely played a significant role in shaping Mary's psyche. By the age of 10, Mary had already shown signs of serious emotional disturbance. She was known for bullying younger children, being aggressive at school, and displaying a strange fascination with death. According to reports, she once attempted to strangle a classmate, and later told another child, "I like hurting things. I like hurting people." These chilling admissions would later serve as early warning signs that went tragically unaddressed. On May 25, 1968, one day before her 11th birthday, Mary committed her first known murder. 4-year-old Martin Brown was found dead in an abandoned house in Scotswood. At first, police believed it was a tragic accident. There were no visible injuries or signs of struggle. However, the absence of an obvious cause of death left authorities puzzled. It wasn't until later that investigators discovered Mary had strangled the boy. Just weeks after Martin's death, Mary and her friend, 13-year-old Norma Bell, no relation, broke into a nursery and vandalized it. They left behind cryptic notes, taunting the police and taking credit for the murder. "I murder so that I may come back," one note read. At the time, officials dismissed the messages as a childish prank, still unaware of how sinister the truth actually was. Then, on July 31, 1968, Mary struck again. This time, her victim was 3-year-old Brian Howe. Mary and Norma lured Brian to a secluded area, where Mary strangled him. But this murder was even more brutal. Mary mutilated Brian's body with scissors, carving an M into his stomach, cutting off clumps of his hair, and leaving bite marks on his body. It was an escalation in violence that revealed her growing detachment from empathy or remorse. What caught the attention of investigators was Mary's behavior after the murder. She showed an abnormal interest in the case, even visiting Brian's family and asking how they felt about his death. She also led police to the crime scene under the guise of curiosity. Witnesses described her demeanor as eerily calm and composed, highly unusual for a child, let alone one involved in a murder investigation. Eventually, suspicions turned toward Mary and Norma. During police questioning, Norma broke down and confessed, pointing the finger at Mary as the ringleader. Mary, however, remained defiant and emotionless throughout her interviews. During her trial in December 1968, both girls were charged with 2 counts of murder. The court proceedings captivated the British public, who struggled to comprehend how a child could commit such violent acts. Psychiatrists who examined Mary described her as intelligent but manipulative, with classic symptoms of psychopathy including a lack of empathy, impulsivity, and a disturbing detachment from her actions. In the end, the jury found Mary guilty of manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility. Norma was acquitted of all charges, as the court deemed her more of a passive participant. Mary Bell was sentenced to be detained at Her Majesty's pleasure, a term used for indefinite juvenile incarceration. She served 12 years in various institutions, and was released in 1980 at the age of 23. Upon her release, Mary was granted a new identity to protect her from public backlash. In 2003, this anonymity was extended for life, including to her daughter, who reportedly grew up unaware of her mother's criminal past, until the media rediscovered the story. Mary Bell's case continues to provoke debate and fascination more than 50 years later. Can a child truly be evil? Or is evil something we create through neglect, abuse, and systemic failure? The story of Mary Bell raises uncomfortable questions about responsibility, rehabilitation, and whether someone capable of such violence can ever be truly changed. Today, Mary Bell lives under a court-protected identity, somewhere in the United Kingdom. She is now a grandmother, living a life far removed from the 2 murders that marked her childhood and scarred a nation. But for the families of Martin Brown and Brian Howe, her crimes are never far from memory. A reminder that sometimes monsters can come in the smallest of forms.